present. And we took the example of like iTunes, Spotify, and all these digital platforms for musicians. It's not the same for like visual artists. Of course, visual arts works in.
There are those who, like, as we say, musician, they get awards, but as they are putting us apart, they are not talking about us. I don't know why, but for me, what I'm trying to push the art at a high level so that we can speak as we artists, as we young generation. So I don't know whether you try out and move around it in the city and you find young young children down there, like trying to make something better for the world. They practice, but people just pass around them, you understand? They don't help them, you just see them, you understand? Yeah, so that's my issue, and that's how, for me, I want the government to help. Even though they don't help me, but they can help those who are needed. You understand?
Okay. So Abdul, but first, before we even go to government, Faisal here is government himself.
Retired.
Yeah, Faisal is government. He has a whole state house in Lunkulu, where he sits and do his stuff from there. And you've heard about Umva Creative. But I want to take you straight, Abdul. It's interesting that you talked about this now, that art is not very much appreciated, and people who do visual art and paying artists are not very much appreciated. But I want to take you straight to, how did you end up being an artist?
I started doing art in 2018, but now people, like, I've spent like 5 years doing art. So someone can see my work on the wall. Him or us, like, can know that I've spent a lot of years doing this art on the walls. So I stopped in S4.
Okay.
You understand? And I started doing art. It's like I had my friends. You understand? So I told my friends, why don't you come and join me? As like, there's no work anymore, like, so that we can push art forward. So I started doing that art in 2018. So I got a challenge. I went with my work at Uganda Road. You understand, like, so that they can support us. But the bad thing, I went there, they just told me my work is still, I have to go back home and practice so that I can take them nice work.
Yes.
You understand? So after getting their words, or after understanding their stuff, what they are saying to me, so I went back home and started practicing. So I started doing this work of art on the wall. That's why it's 2019. So 18 I was doing these portraits, this small painting, this hanging painting. It was a big challenge because I had no money on that time. You understand? People were not supporting us. It's like even my mom didn't support me anymore. You understand? So for me, what I did, I went to some guys, asking them money so that I can buy my materials and come back home and do that type of art. So after doing that art on the wall, I got my guys who helped me to push my career forward. And there is a guy whom I met, that guy is called Japheth Nsubuga. So that guy taught me art up to now, you understand? So he taught me how to mix colors, you understand? How to make canvases, you understand? For me, I didn't know how to make canvases, you understand? And I didn't know how to mix colors, or like I can get like red and black and yellow to bring out that brown color. I didn't know that. So even yellow plus blue, you can mix it and you get green. I didn't know everything. So after getting all of those techniques from that guy, I started doing my own stuff. You understand? Forcing us, like taking art in the high level. You understand? As the guys told me, I have to practice everything so that I can take my work there, they buy. So I started doing that work slowly practicing. So the challenge I had, I didn't have a workspace. You understand? It was so tough on those days. On that days, people were like just calling me to do their work. You understand?
Were they paying you?
On the phone, just sending me
When
money.
they called you to go and do
Yeah.
their work, were they paying you?
Yeah, they were paying, but little money. You understand? They can give you, maybe someone can say, I need a painting, but I'm gonna give you 100. That 100 was so small because I have to buy paint, the facilitation. You understand? Even the people it's like whom I'm working with, they also need money. You understand? But that's the challenge. Yeah, they can call you and it's like you paint here, they give you little money. So art is so powerful here. You understand? So they have to give us enough money so that we can push our career forward, so that we can be happy in it.
Okay. I want to take you straight to Faisal. Faisal, you've heard Abdul's story. Senior 4, dropped out, looking for what to do, and decided that I can't sit home all this time. I need to go into art. And before we know it, he's, for a person who started doing art in 2018 to what we're seeing today, I must say he's pretty talented because there's a very short time and more or less like competing with some really top artists that we have in the country. What do you have to say about this? And it's a story of many young people out there. You can see that Abdul has some bit of struggling with how do I get my work out? How do I get people to believe in me? How do I move on from here?
Yeah.
You are a promoter and you've been promoting art for a while. What would you say to this young man and how would you help him to go?
No, I mean, it's a fascinating story, and it's a story of our generation. Most of us come from this background because you go back, like we will grow up, we were born in the war period, we grew up during the war, and then even though we're young, we didn't see how it happened. Then when we got out of that, however much we tried with our parents, they could not push us too much. And then we found ourselves, lacking support. And then you have to reinvent yourself. And I'm very proud of Abdul Fattah's, effort to reinvent himself, to find a meaning and a skill or something that is passionate for him and continue. But also, living in a neighborhood of challenges. Kawempe is a very challenging community. And however much I'm a Muslim, and Kawempe is, it's our
Muslim community.
And it's also an effect. If you want to understand the level of poverty, not in the mind, but in terms of religious poverty and dropout in schools, it's very much within the Muslim communities. I look at Chibuli, I was born and grew up in Chibuli. When you go to Kawempe, when you go to all these Muslim communities, if you walk around, you find that they have children and they couldn't afford to take them to school. So they either choose, secular education was not their thing, so they took them to madrasas and bilals. But again, you come back that they have been businessmen, they have been entrepreneurial and adventurous. So that's why most of the young people in these communities come out to do some crazy stuff, and they're very exciting, that are actually very communal, because they are raised in communities. We grew up in communities, and you find most of the community entrepreneurs are Muslims, because you grew up with people around you. You're not growing up in a segregated or closed door. You're open to people. Your first approach is always back to the people, and I think it's a very good thing. But I think also, for me, the issue on the development of an individual like Abdul Fattah is really to look at, to study the environment. Yes, we can do community work, but we also have to understand, if I want to grow, how do I move from one step to another?
Exactly.
And I think, for me, one thing I noticed being a programmer in this business is that people like spectacles. People want to see things are amazing. And not in terms of like just color or but concepts. And, so I think one of the things that I really think maybe you need to think about, I've seen your work, it's amazing. I think you need to work on, maybe in the next 2 years, work on 1 or 2 masterpieces. Work on 2 masterpieces that you will take your time. As we said earlier, graffiti takes time, needs patience. you need like 2 or 3 masterpieces that someone will be like, wait a minute, what was that? You know, who did that? And then you start looking out, you know, you can start selling those works, because I know so many graffiti festivals around the world. I know a friend of mine is having a space in Antwerp in Belgium, and I was visiting his graffiti. It's amazing. It's amazing. So they invite all these graffiti artists, and they come from around the world, and they spend there for 6 months working on pieces. So you need to start looking out for those places where you can go and share your work, but you have to go when you're ready. You have to go when you have something you're sharing, you know, when you have a story. And I also like the concept of topics like COVID and stuff like that. I think it has been a very trending concept these days, which is right. I think we need to talk about artists, speak about things that are happening in society.
I mean, well, they are using artists to communicate about COVID-19.
So that the challenge is, how do you monetize that? How do you make it? Of course, it's really difficult to sell graffiti. It's not like a fashion show or cloth or a song or a piece of art. But how do you move your graffiti work from the wall to the market? You know, because I don't remember the last time I went to Kawempe, so I'll never see your work. But how do you get your work from that wall to
Kampala Road?
You know,
or to Faizo's office.
Exactly, or to anyone, to Eddie's show. You know, have a print or create something that. So we need to think around, how do we monetize? You know, the way you do those paintings, and when people buy them or donate them or whatever it is. So we need to think around, how do you monetize your work from the wall to your pocket?
So well, Abdul, yes, we're going to take a break, but you can add to that. Yes.
Okay, so let me tell you this. I have like 3 masterpieces, that of COVID. One is in Kawempe, one is in Kamocha. But on that day, I try to go and meet those who will manage to take our stuff for us, so that we can produce more work in Uganda. One day I met Ruth Acheng. I went with a proposal. I wrote everything. It wasn't easy to meet her. But I went there, I introduced my work, you know, I told her that
how they can use your work and
how
that
they
to
can
communicate,
use,
teach people about COVID-19 and what COVID-19 is.
What she told me, I will call you, you understand? So as we tell that no one is like, we can take work to define people.
Did Dr. Honorable Ruth Acheng call you back?
No, didn't call me. That's the problem we have. You understand? As you say that we have to bring out the why we take it so that they can support, but no one can do that, you understand? As I tried on that day, you understand? But
but you don't stop, Abdul, when you go to one office, you don't stop. What Faizo is saying, you need to keep knocking, continuous knocking of the door, opening the door to people. If you go one time and you get frustrated, the next time you're not going to go. I mean, Faizo here can tell you his story of how much he had to go through before buying back and be birth. Did you know that Faizo had to work somewhere for so many years for his dream to come to pass?
I understand.
Yes, so you have got to be that.
But also, like when I was doing my first festival, I think, and I put it on record, I wrote 1,000 proposals, which I sent out to all, and you know how hard it is. You're really hustling. You're saving. You're tapping on your saving, and you have to print all these proposals nicely, put them in an envelope, deliver them to the
1,000.
1,000, and no one called back.
That's the truth.
No one called back. Gentlemen, we're gonna have to go for a break, and when we come back, we're going to listen to how Faizo's 1,000 proposals, will help Abdul and learn how to sell his work and to make it better. Stay right there. We'll be right back after this break. This is a Creative Industry Talk. Eddie Okela, Faizo Chiwewa, Abdul Fattah Rashid of Abdul at UG. We'll be right back after this break.
If you create a space which enables people to think and thrive, that's a bonus. before I started working officially, I used to do a lot of freelance work. And as a young freelancer, my laptop was on my back. And I didn't have an internet connection. I didn't have an office desk. It was difficult for me to work at home. So what I did is I would go and sit in a restaurant, buy some tea or breakfast, and ask for a Wi-Fi password. And then I would sit there and have my breakfast slowly, you know, as I did my work and I sent work to clients and everything, you know. But before long, lunchtime, it would be lunchtime, you know. And they would
be forced to eat also.
They would bring you lunch menu. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So when you find a space where people can come and sit and pay for a full day.
10,000, I'm told.
Yes, you see, that is creativity.
Yeah.
Because the owner of this building or the owner of this space knows that people, there's a certain segment of the market that can't afford to rent a premises per square meter or 10 square meters or 100 square meters and pay monthly and bring their own furniture, their own internet connection, carpeting, light and everything, a working bathroom, and then lunch for staff members. So they think about it creatively and they say, how many people can this space take? 100 people per day. Okay, good. If each of those people pays 10,000 per day, and they come and have access to the internet and a nice chair and a desk and a good environment where they can concentrate and deliver. That is brilliant. That is creativity in the workplace.
Hello everyone. By the name, I'm called Abdul Fatah Rashid. For me, art is my passion. To many, art can be described in sharing one's thought, vision, motion, and even dance. Let us see how art in Uganda has
Welcome back to the program. This is a Creative Industry Talk. My name is Adio Killer, and in the studio is Faiza Chiwewa and Abdul Fatah. We're talking about creative arts. We're talking about skill development in the art industry, as well as community art. How do you tell the story of a community from you know, using your work and using your talent and changing the lives of people in the community where you are. Abdul surely is a very big inspiration in his community in Kawempe, and you can see the move there. You've seen that video with a deaf and dumb guy trying to communicate to us about his work and what he's trying to do and the learning. That is what Creative Industry Talk is all about. Creative Industry Talk is a conceptually grounded program that brings together all the people in the art and craft business, music, creativity, everyone who is in a creative industry to come together to have a discussion, to expose our works and to link ourselves to the market. And of course, to bring people like Pfizer who are doing it to come and share ideas, people like Abdul to come and share ideas. Gentlemen, welcome back to the program. Abdul, first we want to go back to your route from Arua. You are a Lukbara from Arua, that's what we understood. Yes.
So he's a Jaffa cousin.
Yes, Jaffa from Arua. So let's talk slightly a little bit more. Somebody just asked me, says, that's a son, I read from your post, somebody was sending a message from the post that you are a son of Arua and they want to know how they can support you. And the person was saying, you have people like, you know, Jaffa Eta who is doing great stuff. Why isn't your work part of the work that he's doing? Maybe this is a moment for us to link you up there. But let's talk about your route from Arua. Yes.
Actually, I'm a Rugba from Arua, so I have grown up here in Uganda, in Kampala.
Okay.
Even the bad stuff, like I don't know how to speak that language. I just speak Swahili and English, Uganda.
Yeah.
That's all, but I don't know that language.
The language, yes.
Yeah.
So how come you've not been able to go back home?
Actually, I haven't.
Because Arua people will give you mercy.
Yeah. It's like this. It's like my dad died. You understand?
Yeah.
For me, I stopped going in Arua. I was young.
Yeah.
And that day was 7 years.
Okay.
Up to now, I haven't gone there. There is some issues like which can't allow me to go back there. You understand?
Okay.
But for me, what I can do to go back is like my art can take me, go there and support them. Like I can go there and make different pictures which can speak and which can tell people stop doing this. That's the only stuff I can do. I'm staying with my mom right now, and my sisters and brothers. You know, we are 7.
Yeah.
So even my mom's not going there. You know, it's like we just staying here in Uganda, trying to take our life forward. Yeah.
Okay. I want everybody, Faisal, that's Abdul work right there. And you can see that work right there. And I want everybody out there to share that as far as possible. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
That work is at Tura Road. Yeah.
This is part of your coronavirus. Yes. What does this mean, Abdul?
Actually, it's mean that the meaning of that art is showing like you are saying that officers, the soldiers, they are trying to give food to the people. You understand?
In the van, in the truck.
That truck. Even the world, you are seeing the globe, showing that virus is attacking everywhere.
Yes.
You understand? So as you see in this man here, there are some people behind, they are trying to pray. You understand? Yeah, they are praying so that the virus can go.
Yeah.
You understand? So that guy you're seeing there, that gentleman, is a guy, the owner of BTM television.
Okay.
Yeah, he tried to support me and do that work.
Okay.
You understand? So even I have a lot of paintings. I'm having like that of Magufuli is also at Tura Road.
What was the inspiration behind
the inspiration is like the day a guy died.
You painted that?
Yeah, I just painted that so that I can represent my work to the whole Tanzania. You understand? I'm having my friends there, so for me I just painted.
Like a tribute.
Showing them that even in this side we are so, it's like, I don't know how I can speak, but it was it was so powerful. Yes. So I had to paint that work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have at one point reach out to try and take this work to, if you just put that work up, would you been able to take it to the Tanzanian High Commission, basically to say this is a tribute from me and my people in Kawempe?
Yeah, it was hard me to go there. You understand? Even I just had my friend, just they were sharing the work.
Okay.
You understand? They are just sharing to their friends in Tanzania.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
what
want
they
you to
do.
hold it right there, Abdul, and I want to go to Faisal. Faisal, certainly Abdul has something to offer to the world.
Yeah.
And mentorship management is needed in Abdul's life. He's got the talent, he's got what it takes to get there, but we need to help Abdul to expose his work. Ideally, Abdul had a very good plan that most of us talking about in this community would never have thought about, that a president of another country died. He had his little friends, and he said that my little friends are mourning their president.
Yeah.
We are mourning with you guys. He painted the picture on that same day. Ideally, this should have gone to the Tanzanian High Commission to communicate to the people of Kawempe. And you know, it looks little, but this is a big
But
thing.
it
How
is
would you
big.
help this young man?
No,
to
but I
manage
think, we have to also differentiate. I think Abdul's concept is not really necessarily that you painted the work to go to the embassy.
Yes.
But I think, he's a community artist.
Yes.
So there is a, in him, I think there is a feeling of sharing, because he wouldn't do the same in Nakasero or at Kisementi.
Yeah.
There's no space for that.
Yeah.
But because he knows this community and this is where he lives, so he felt sharing his tribute with his colleagues in Tanzania in the space he knows is a way of also sharing it with the community in Kawempe. And I think that's really very strong and relevant. And for me, it also goes back like, what does it mean to be a community artist? What does it mean to to work within a community whereby you are all in the same boat,
Yeah.
but maybe no, what did they say? You are in the same storm, but in
Yes.
different boats.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I think here for me, if you are working for a community, there are certain things that you have to do for the sake of the community, and where you're not expected. And if you're working for yourself, it doesn't mean that if you're working for yourself, you don't work for the community, or when you're working for the community, you don't work for yourself. So I think there is a need for a differentiation here in terms of like, what do I do for my community and what do I do for myself?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you need to survive. You need revenue. You need to pay your bills or support your mom as well with your siblings. So I
In fact,
think
you are doing that because you want to earn.
Exactly.
So that you can improve onto your life, so that you can, like you said.
So
you
for
can-
me, I think the advice would be like, what is the relationship between your community work and the
And
work
other business.
and your business?
Yeah.
If you think your community work is your business, then you have to have a model that is going to work to help you to earn from that community work. But then it ceases to be community, and it becomes your business. You get what I mean? So when we work for our communities in the arts community, we work for them. We actually invest in them.
Yeah.
And then for us to survive as individuals, we have to find other alternative sources of revenue. And that's where I think Abdul has to think around and say, okay, my graffiti, my community education, my art, my area is where I feed my community with my skill and time and investment.
Yeah.
But for me as a person, I need to find my own business revenue.
So in other words, Faisal, what you're saying is that what we're seeing up being put on the screen, the
It's
art
public
pieces on the
art.
street, yes.
It's public
So for
good.
example, Abdul, what Faisal is saying, that you can sell that art piece. So
Exactly.
that should
Yeah.
be in somebody's office. That should be in my office. That should be in Faisal's office. That should be in my sitting room. It reminds me that this work is painted by a community, by Abdul in this community, and I have it in my home. It
Yeah.
makes me feel good. So what is the cost of that? Have you ever touched the cost to that? art
Actually,
piece?
I'm doing different paintings. I do all branding right now.
Okay.
So as you say that I need like to do community work and do other business. So I'm doing White Star. I'm doing White Star. You do know White Star Magic?
No.
So
The
that's
soap.
World soap.
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm doing Cowboy. It's like people get my number, call me. For me, what I do, I paint my street art on the wall. I put my number there. Everyone is passing there.
Yes.
Everyone passing on
That's
my
really good.
paintings. Okay, so I don't just paint there. I just paint. Then after writing my name, then I put my number. So I'm getting more all my business. People calling me, Abdul, I want you to paint my picture. Can you? Yes, I can paint. You understand? even there's those companies like that of White Star, they called me, Abdul, can you do wall branding art on our walls? Yes, I can do, you understand? Even like to do community work in Kawempe, it's like I can't move from Kawempe to other side, you understand? It's very difficult for me to go in town, you understand, or in Nakasero, you understand? People ask a lot of money to brand your stuff, to put your work. Yeah. That's why I'm mainly working in there in Kawempe. And it's very difficult for me to move from Kawempe and go to Masaka, you understand? That's a big challenge.
But I think it is. I think you can move to Masaka.
Yeah, I can.
I mean, graffiti is also about resistance, resilience, and what is it about? You know, it's also advocacy. You know, like when you're doing a mask, the Corona campaign. Yeah. Corona is not only for people in Kampala to know about. It can also work in Masaka. It can work in Toro. But I think the challenge is, how do you find those spaces? Yes. I mean, graffiti, like there's a mural here at Audience. I don't know whether you saw it.
And on that, people ask me money to paint my work there. Yes. I don't just go there, just putting it, you understand?
Yes, Faisal. I mean, we have a very interesting, this is a story of every person in the art, particularly a young person like Abdul here. I mean, the story of Abdul is a story of many people out there. Yeah. It's just because Abdul was able, somebody was able to get Abdul to come to this platform, we would never have known. I was telling you a few weeks ago, I interacted with Abdul. My friend GNL was doing his shop and meet and greet with the people. So we were in Muyenga, and
that's a piece of
that's a piece of GNL, a mural of GNL.
The new
painted,
GNL.
Yes, painted in Kawempe. So we're in Muyenga, and then somebody brought him to basically showcase the work, and GNL was very busy, but somebody squeezed and squeezed to make sure Abdul come. When the young man came, what really turned out to be very fascinating, he had a tablet with a video of him painting GNL and how the mural will look like when it's finished and where it's going to be. And all he wanted was to present. Then he presented also another art piece to GNL, a picture, a portrait of GNL, you know, painted.
That was art drawing.
Yes, a picture drawing of GNL. Yeah. And GNL was very emotionally attached. This is this is nice. He took him back to the whole days of hustling as a boy from Kawempe to making it. So I could see that GNL was, reconnected to his roots of saying, this boy, what he's giving to me right now is a story of where I was many years ago. Yes, I went through, I was able to pull through, now I'm here. He had to go and see him. A day after that, I think over the weekend in Kampala, GNL had another, staff that was doing. So this time around, somebody really literally held his hand and brought him to me and say, you know Abdul, and he does this great work. And I had heard about a young boy in Kawempe, I'd seen him, but now it piqued my attention when he started talking about his story from Arua and the stuff he talked about. Then I said, this could be a story of so many people in creativity. Yeah. All right. And I realized that Abdul is limited to where his work can go, who he can go to. It's about connection, who you know, and how you can expose your work. Faisal, you are into this space, and you've been promoting art for a while. And the boys we see there are his buddies in Kawempe, and I suppose you had painted that. So what's that art piece about before I ask Faisal the question?
That work was about COVID. As you see that girl, she was crying, you understand? So even seeing a man here is coughing, then in the middle you're seeing the hands with the chain. So the hands with the chain, I talked about our whole world, not only Uganda. So as you saw, like people are dying a lot in China, UK, Japan, you understand? So even I wrote some words like stay safe, wear your mask, you understand? So that everyone can pass and read, and than just making art piece, you understand? So for me, what I do, what we did, we just wrote some small words there. Then we made the globe behind, showing every country is like dying of COVID. Yeah.
Okay, Faisal, you've heard this story. How do we then get, you're in the space of promoting art, and of course Baimba is big. Baimba has given so many people a platform to go out there. Some artists would never have made it to the world platform if Baimba did not go through this. But this was all because Faisal went through a very hard time, defined himself, created Baimba, which is now employing as many people as possible. But if Faisal was like Abdul saying, I don't know how to get from, you know, Chibuli to, to Netherlands, to the US and to France, there's no way out, you know, Baimba would have gotten there. How would you, what advice would you offer to Abdul right now, and how would you help Abdul to move from point A to point B as an elder in this business?
I think, we've talked through some of the things, and what I see is that, of course, you know, graffiti is very challenging to sell.
Yeah.
It's not a common art form that you can find in everyone's interest.
Yeah.
And it's also very, it has always been branded as a rebel art form.
Yeah.
You find people always, you know, complaining about their buildings being sprayed with cans.
Yeah.
And in Europe, it's illegal in some countries. And that's why because it's an art form that is appreciated because of the message, the strong message it brings, and the color. That's why some countries and cities had to decide on where, or designate certain areas where graffiti is allowed. Like in Berlin, there is the Berlin Wall. Every year they bring new artists to paint. There are some masterpieces that are not removed, but you can walk it for kilometers. One wall with all sorts of graffiti paintings. So, and they invite big artists. I talked about the Antwerp. I talked about in Nairobi, there are festivals of graffiti. So I think what needs to be done, for Abdul Fattah is really to kind of think around how do you promote your work beyond where you're doing it in Kawempe. And of course, it can be challenging to be, also scary to say, how can I go and just find someone's building and just paint it?
Yeah,
but that's the spirit of graffiti. You can have that aspect of you, or you stick to community graffiti where you only work with topics that are about your community and that you know that they are comfortable and in a space that you know that you're working in within. But I like your approach of it's not only that work that you're doing, you're looking at, but you also go out and try to sell your work to other people and try to collaborate. I think, for me, I really think you can grow as an artist, and I think you can also expound on your skill as a graffiti artist, but you just need to invest in yourself more. As much as you're struggling and trying to make ends meet, you can also try to stick out what are other graffiti artists doing, who is trending, what are they working on, and how can I get to that level? Where can I sell my work? Or where can I present yourself? You apply to festivals, you apply to graffiti programs, you try to get out of this comfort zone. I'm not saying it's your comfort zone, but get out of this community and take your work out, and then later on you realize that actually it will give you much more impact with the work that you've done in the community.
And seek for opportunities to land as much as possible, and look for people like Faisal. Now you've met Faisal, you can write to Faisal and say, I want to join one of the programs at Baimba, to land. And then, more education you have, more exposure you have. So those are the opportunities you have to get your work outside there. Now, Faisal and Abdul, we're going to hold it right here for a moment and go for another break, a coffee break. This is the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okela. Faisal Chiwewa, Abdul Fattah of Abdul at UG, based in Kawempe, contemporary artist, and of course the graffiti artist and art educator out of Kawempe division, a suburb of Kampala City. Inspiring live there on the program today. And this program is all about exposing Abdul and his work, and of course talking about how skill is developed in community and how it can be exported away. Stay right there, I'll be right back after this break, but share it far and wide. Welcome back from that break. This is the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okila, live here on House of Talent Television. Please catch up with this program and share it far and wide. It's a conceptually grounded program that looks at the contemporary art and, of course, the art in general. We're looking at the creative industry in general. Creativity lives and sleeps in our bed. And it lives in our sitting room, it lives in our cars, it lives in our industries. You know, you meet people who are building, are all creative, engineers are creative people.
Sometimes in the kitchen also.
Yeah, sometimes in the kitchen, Faisal said. But gentlemen, welcome back to the program. And before we went for that, Faisal, you're offering some advice to Abdul on how he can get his work out there. And this program...
Stop doing this, do this, you understand? That's the thing. Stop doing this, do this, you understand? That's the only thing I do.
Okay.
Like I'm teaching the young children.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay, so we're going to run through some of the pictures right there. So what was the inspiration behind that and how were you teaching using that?
The inspiration that it is an elephant, you understand? There are those who love elephants in the community. There are those who like those patterns in the community. And that's why, so if someone finds me painting such an art piece like that, it can be inspired by like, can you teach me that work? I just say yes, I can. Or we can talk about the